Hi, my name is Rene Cruz Jr.
And I'm Clifford Hongo.
and we are
those
those fucking
fucking
nerds.
nerds. I wonder what that is.
If you are like near our age and vaguely familiar with comics, you would get that we are going to be talking about X-Men.
It's not a title.
Yes, in case you could read, and specifically Mutant Genesis, which was arguably what sparked the X Mania back in the 90s.
Well, it remains the first issue of that book remains the highest selling comic ever from across all companies. 8 million copies and counting. I guess.
Yeah, still is like it beat the previously highest selling Marvel comic, which came out a few months before X-Men #1, and it was Spider-Man #1 by Todd McFarlane.
Yes,
which the first ever X-Men #1 broke records by having fan favorite artist Jim Lee, who was the artist of the 80s when he took over X-Men. X-Men, like fucking,
he practically defined 90s comic art.
yeah, when X-Men was Uncanny X-Men was so big because mostly of Jim Lee's art, they gave the X-Men their second book, the adjectiveless X-Men, splitting up the team into two forces, the Blue Strike Force and the Gold Strike Force. Jim Lee handled the Blue Strike Force, which was composed of everyone's favorite douchebag Cyclops, everyone's favorite indestructible killing machine Wolverine, my favorite mutant Gambit, and his sugar rogue Psylocke, the hot British Asian person Beast, and of course Jubilee.
Of course, like she's most important. Okay.
Arguably, the popularity of this title, coupled with Uncanny X-Men's consistent sales, led to the X-Men animated series, wherein the characters are designed basically how Jim Lee designed them.
And if you're a 90s kid, that's your entryway drug.
Yeah, and because of that animated series, it defined the 90s as a time wherein mutants are all the rage. The same way that the Avengers are this generation's, comic book fucking required reading. Back in the 90s, it was the X-Men. I hate mutants, but I do I liked the story that we'll be reviewing today.
I love how you did that. And I hate mutants.
I hate mutants.
I hate white people.
Well, kinda, yeah. I'm just full of hate. It's just a thing. Mutant Genesis is about what? Tell us.
It's about mutants.
The genesis of those mutants.
Okay, here's the collected trade, and what it covers is the first 7 issues of Jim Lee and Chris. Well, first. The last 3 of Chris Claremont's run on X-Men, and then another 4 issues.
To those who are, to the uninitiated, Chris Claremont is the iconic writer of the X-Men. He came out with a lot of the iconic stories from the 80s, which includes
the reboot Giant Size X-Men #1, which introduced Wolverine into the X-Men canon.
Yes, and Storm
and basically everyone else.
Nightcrawler. My favorite duo, Nightcrawler and Colossus.
No love for Sunfire?
No. He sucks.
He's a douchebag.
He's a low-level Human Torch. Mutant Genesis, as you can see, this is a very old book. Clifford is actually the bigger X-Men fan because, again, I hate mutants.
Yeah.
Tell us about this particular book. When did you get this? Why is this so old? How much did it cost when you bought this? Why is this still here? Look, it's like the fucking,
why do I even have a life?
The spine is pretty much destroyed. Yeah. Like he's a comic book collector. He should know better. But look, it's that old.
It's got a long story. Well, yeah. Okay. This is gonna get This is actually my second copy of the first X-Men issue. This covers the first chapter of this book. Now,
it's 7
cool
issues.
Story.
Right?
Yeah, cool story. When I was in 6th grade, I bought a copy. Not this copy. I have it somewhere there. Another copy of this, and then I bought this from my Christmas savings, and some guy sold it to me for 1,000 pesos.
Motherfucker, really?
I did not know it costs much cheaper than that.
Paid too much.
I did. and my mom found out, and she got pissed off, and my dad got pissed off. And what my dad did, he ripped it in half.
That doesn't make sense. Like if you
doesn't.
spend a lot of money and okay,
He underwent like it's not nerd rage. So I still have
like
the
right now.
somewhere.
This is not a comic book review.
Yeah.
This is therapy. So
Yeah.
if I can let's
No,
talk about
it was
this.
just funny because we obviously never got the money back, and I only kept the copy because it's a reminder that thou shalt not get scammed ever again.
I explained some
And
trust issues. Yeah.
So, but then again, it didn't put me off X-Men. So this is actually one of the first 10 pieces of comics I ever bought.
Mhm.
So I had to rebuy it at a later time. And the reason why it's so beat up is because I brought I bought this back in college. What was that? Magnet, remember Magnet?
Oh, fuck yeah. From
Yeah, I bought this from Magnet in South Mall.
Wait, they got it. From
And
South
the condition, well, back then, it already had creases on the spine, but this was...
How much did you get it for?
Less than,
Less than 500?
no, it's around 200, actually.
Oh, no.
That's all I could afford at the time. So,
But it's really, like it's a
Yeah,
good
and
fucking
I-
deal. Even back then, like 200 is super cheap for a comic
yeah,
book.
this was, what year is this? I mean, see how I carelessly flipped the damn thing?
Mhm. The original,
wow.
the original series came out in the early 90s,
Oh my god, this is 1995.
1995. I was a high school
Okay,
freshman.
it's older than I thought. The story covers the first 7 issues of the X-Men run. This is the one of the
Yeah, it came out like in 3 covers,
4.
3 or 4 variant covers that you can connect. So it forms this giant fucking thing.
Mhm.
I actually have one of these, but I only have the Magneto cover. Because this one, the classic one, this one was the hardest to find because this had Wolverine.
Which is weird because the gatefold thing is not that hard to find.
Yeah, the John Cena of the Marvel Universe. Or at least the mutants. And then I think, Magneto, that was the one I had.
So the first story arc, the first 3 issues covers Magneto's return at the time, and how if you've been following the TV series, there was the Acolytes, and that douchebag Fabian Cortez.
Who again? He looks like an interesting character, but I still don't understand why. But I don't know what he does. What's his power?
He hates humans as much as you hate mutants, I suppose. Anyway,
No one can hate mutants as much as.
and then after the 3rd issue, Chris Claremont quit the X-Men, and Jim Lee sort of took over the writing duties along with.
But you know why?
No idea. And then John Byrne helped around with the script, and this is the first proper appearance of Omega Red, another who eventually became the classic Wolverine villain.
He's no longer around though for some reason.
Yeah, I mean he's part of he's the product of the Russian equivalent of Weapon X, or Weapon 10, as they now say it nowadays. Long story.
But Weapon X is now the Canadian version of the Super Soldier program. Because there's one thing comics has taught us: war creates superheroes.
True.
So we should always be at war.
Okay.
Fish. No.
Okay, so
Fuck that. No.
you do not fist. No. That's a wrong context. Anyway, so
you have that beat up, or you bought that, and then when did you come across this beauty, which is exactly the same thing, but it's hardbound. It's got this jacket, this dust cover that is.
This was
holy shit! I did not notice this before.
Oh yeah, that was one of the spreads in the original comic. This is the well, what happened was Marvel released the 20th anniversary of the first issue. So this came out in 1991. So the reprint is 2011. Yeah. But they recolored the entire thing. So instead of the 90s-ish blotches of color, what they did was they
Oh wow!
They
Okay, I
changed
did not.
the colors.
I
Like,
haven't opened
I
it
mean,
yet. This is the
the
first time
lead.
I'm seeing the inside
Let's
of
find a
that.
really good frame and okay, this is fun. And
Okay.
then let's compare with the one on the train. That's part of the training sequence.
Yeah, and this is the first time you see all of them.
See, this is the original coloring, right?
As you can see, this is the one in the new version. It's darker. It's more stylish.
It's more modern.
It's plus it's more appropriate for the scene because
Yeah.
it has more drama. This is where you appreciate because most people they just assume okay they draw and then they color it
Yeah.
whatever the costumes colors are, that's it. But this is where you put the lighting aspect of coloring in comic books.
True.
And you actually increase the drama of every frame.
And they even make corrections like hold on, let me flip through. There was this really good thing. Man, we are so prepared for this.
Yes. I'm just gonna stop doing this and start reading. I don't. But Jim Lee has always been like again, if you read comics, even just like casually, you know that Jim Lee right now is the top guy. He's in DC now.
Yeah.
I think he serves as
He's the overlord of DC. I
yeah.
guess.
And yeah, all of this fucking art is just I don't know.
He's like a constant seller. I mean, you get nowadays you get these Jim Lee
Covers.
variant covers, and they sell a lot.
Mhm.
Although I have a bunch of Jim Lee covers I want to sell, but nobody's buying them. I'm grabbing.
Yeah, Jim Lee has been. He's somehow perfected drawing superheroes to the point that every time he touches, like, my personal complaint is that all of his fucking characters look alike.
Yeah,
But it's comic books, you know.
and the thing about Jim Lee, everyone became a Jim Lee wannabe back in the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s, every comic book, especially about if you want it to be popular, you have to at least look like Jim Lee.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about.
I mean, the art,
Okay.
not the person.
So there was this frame here. Let me show it.
What
to
frame?
people. No,
Which one?
This one, right? So
Okay.
what happened was,
I don't think
So
we're on the
we'll-
same page.
no, we are. So
Okay.
Wolverine jumped out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
building, right? And
Okay, yeah,
the coloring
yeah.
here, it's actually a Mega Red, but some reason the colorist made a mistake.
Oh, they colored him as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now,
That's why I thought we were on different pages because in the new one they corrected it. Look, it's now Omega Red jumping out of the building.
well, no, Wolverine jumped out of the building. Mega Red went,
No,
no, it said no, no,
he's Russian.
screams in Russian.
Yeah, he screams in
No,
Russian.
comrade.
No.
No, but the cool thing is, aside from the coloring, they have some really neat extras here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a gallery somewhere.
Yeah, like another page.
Yeah,
There
there
you
you
go.
go. So basically, so it's sort of a showcase of what the modern coloring can do to, like this one, Kirby.
Yeah, this
very
is the
first
cover
X-Men.
of the first X-Men comic book. They recolored it, and I love Snowman, Iceman.
Yeah, he looks like Slurpee come to life.
Yeah.
And then you have the Dark Phoenix thing and a bunch of the like this is the Chris Claremont and Jim Lee, the bigger collections, and then you got
Essentially, it's eye candy. Like this entire book
Yeah.
is eye candy. Like
Oh.
it does feature a really nice, solid story,
Mhm.
but you get this for the art, and it's really good.
Speaking-
And not just like Jim Lee's pencils, but again, the colors are fucking amazing.
Speaking of art, let me show you something.
Ooh, ooh, fancy!
See, they reprinted the
All of the covers from X-Men #1.
so, and that's 1 inch taller than the original
This-
comic, so it's bigger.
We should like get a poster of this.
Yeah, and
Like,
look,
these are all of the mutant characters at the time. You have the X-Men, X-Force, Excalibur, X-Factor, and yeah,
and some other bunch of guys.
no, it's just them.
Yeah, and it's in modern colors, so
Mhm.
some of them like Cyclops' suit doesn't really. It's not the same as Jean Grey's suit.
Yeah, it's dark blue. What I love about this portrait is that Rachel Summers still sad all the
these
time.
years.
She's sad all the time. I
And you
mean,
think
she's
she's,
with mom and dad
Yeah.
and Big Brother.
She's been rolling her eyes.
Uh, I hate mutants. Shatterstar before he came out. Madrox before he was cool. Strong guy who was never cool.
Before he was dead and lived and then died again. God
Wolverine always bragging about his fucking.
He did the Wakanda thing before everyone else.
Yes. And the Beast just being snarky, I'm an Avenger. Like in a few years, Avengers are gonna be more popular, and I'm still an official member. So yeah.
And that's not the only thing. Let us just carefully fold it so that we may not damage it. But there is another spread here.
Oh wow!
This has the whole.
Now I don't know where this is from.
That was from an Uncanny X-Men issue. It's much earlier than X-Men.
Who's the inker on this? It looks different.
Scott Williams. The early Scott Williams.
This is the 80s lineup. When Cyclops left, he pouted and he formed X Factor. So this is.
So you got Polaris, Storm, Wolverine, and then the that rogue costume with the weird.
Yes, this is also Captain Marvel fans. This is what Rogue was wearing when she put Carol Danvers in a coma.
Huh.
That's why I didn't like the movie. It doesn't have that.
Doesn't have that Carol Danvers in a coma.
It doesn't have Carol Danvers being an alcoholic. Also happened. It doesn't have the one where Carol Danvers sleeps with her own son, so she can give birth to that son. Comics is the greatest thing.
It's not just for kids anymore. Anyway, This is the cover to Uncanny X-Men number 275.
I love these uniforms. I always prefer the X-Men when they're wearing the yellow uniforms.
The Outback era X-Men.
Because I like how they, it's a school. They're a bunch of soldiers.
Yeah.
So they have those same uniform.
Soldiers with really nice abs.
Yeah. I love how Gambit still has that fucking face sunk thing. Yeah, but I always loved this look.
There was this explanation as to why the suits always fit. Because Reed Richards came up with this.
Oh yeah, the unstable molecules.
Stable molecules. So it's like, oh yeah, it fits everyone.
So basically, Reed Richards is the Edna Mole of the Marvel universe. No capes. No capes. Yeah, obviously we are in love with this book, so yeah.
And another thing about the old editions versus this edition is because there were pages that they were sort of teasing the issues that were not included here, which dealt with Longshot and the Mojoverse, which introduced Mojo 2, the thin version of Mojo. And there were a couple of pages per issue that sort of foreshadowed thing, and it's not included here.
Okay.
So you sort of get the closest to the original issues.
Wait, if they included that, are they coming out with a volume that tackles?
No, that's the weird. That's the weird.
Because I don't want to read something that sort of teases something and doesn't follow through.
Yeah. I guess that it makes sense. They never followed this with the remaining issues because right after that issue there was a Ghost Rider crossover. What was it? And I can't remember.
No, I think that was a filler issue.
Yeah. I have complete here in single. See, X-Men number 8, which came out after the Omega Red issue. This is also this is where Bishop guest starred.
Bishop is a member of the Gold Strike Force,
or as Indians would say, it's Biswap. You move the Biswap. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I just heard it somewhere. It's and then this is the part 2, which is a Ghost Rider issue. Also a Jim Lee cover, by the way.
I don't know why Ghost Rider had to get involved with the whole Gambit betrays the X-Men thing. This is why Bishop attacked Gambit, because in the future, Gambit betrayed the X-Men, or at least from Bishop's future.
I think it was someone else. No, I think it turned out to be Xavier.
Yes.
So,
who became Onslaught.
A 20-year-old spoiler, if someone's screaming spoilers right now.
Plus, it doesn't matter. They rebooted the whole thing. It never happened.
Yeah. And then this is the third part. Wolverine, of course, on the cover.
See, back in the 90s, every comic would have either Wolverine or Ghost Rider to sell more. And they even made fun of it because in one issue of Slapstick, it had both Wolverine and Ghost Rider on the cover. and basically Slapstick was just saying like, stand still, we need to sell copies. They
yeah.
weren't in the comic.
Yeah.
They were just there to boost sales.
They've been doing that gimmick, and this is the end part, by the way.
Mhm.
Also Ghost Rider and Wolverine in really good, very Jim Lee-ish poses right there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if these were in any collected editions. I think there were, but not recently. And then the last few issues, sort of. Well, if you want to collect all the Jim Lee issues, there are so far the only option, for completists is get the Jim Lee and Chris Claremont omnibus.
Yeah, but it jumps from like one story to the next.
No, it's a straight run from Uncanny X-Men.
No, like there's gaps. I mean, there are gaps in like places where like they cross over with other books.
Yeah.
But yeah, the X-Men ones are.
Yeah, and then probably Extinction Agenda, because there were Jim Lee issues there, but it's also crossing over other titles. But yeah, the if you just want the Jim Lee work, Jim Lee's work at Marvel, you really should get the two Claremont and Jim Lee omnibuses. They're pretty hard to find right now.
Yeah, but also like if you're a thing, like definitely we highly recommend that you buy this book. But if you're after the Jim Lee art, like this version, like how much does this cost?
Cover price is $50.
$50. I think this one is pretty hard to find though, because I tried looking for them. I can't find a copy. But if you can track a copy down, definitely get your hands on it. But if you are looking for your Jim Lee fix, first off, I know a guy who sells the classic Jim Lee trading cards from the 90s, original.
Oh yeah.
Jim Lee came out with the X-Men trading cards, all of the mutant characters drawn by Jim Lee specifically for that card set. I know someone who sells I don't know how that person got prints, but yeah.
I have the
uncut.
No. What happened was Marvel collected all those Jim Lee trading card art in 3 single issues. I have it there somewhere.
Okay.
I'll have to look for it.
Also, if you, again, to get your Jim Lee fix, you should also get Hush, the Batman storyline, because Jim Lee basically they wrote that story just so they can have an excuse
showcase
for Jim Lee to draw every fucking single Batman character, because they're all there. Even Superman shows up.
Right, and the DC has just. Well, I have a copy in my shelf somewhere, but basically
we'll do Hush in a few episodes.
Yeah, it's the 15th.
Once the cartoon comes up.
Yeah,
there's an animated movie.
Oh yeah.
And finally, if you really still need your Jim Lee fix, follow Jim Lee on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Almost on a weekly basis, he posts new art.
And he does these live, right?
Yeah, he does videos of.
Do you have a Twitch account?
No, I don't have a Twitch account.
Yeah, he does live drawings there.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. He does. I've seen him on his Instagram do a live sketch from pencils to ink of his standard Batman drawing.
Yeah, he loves drawing Batman. It's like he ask him to do a sketch. Chances are he's gonna do a Batman.
Yeah.
So well, anyway, if you would just want to get your feet wet, if you're one of those people who have not seen Jim Lee's work ever,
that's impossible. No way.
But if in case there is someone watching this, we mentioned the True Marvel's True Believers program. There is a reprint of the first X-Men issue. It costs $1, and it's not that hard to find. You can just drop those. Yeah,
but they're not recolored.
No, they're not. It's it has the original colors that the original issue had,
and of course the where is it?
What?
The one with Captain America.
Oh yeah,
my boy.
Well, let's see. This is the
original.
The original one,
and they came out with a reprint that's in 3D.
It comes out. It includes a pair of glasses if you don't have one, and I'm not gonna say it's good, but hey,
it's a standalone story that's set in the past. So it features Cap and Black Widow.
Black Widow, I like that.
So yeah, it's an excuse to see Cap and Widow once drawn by Jim Lee, and yeah.
Another thing about Jim Lee's work is, remember, I'm not sure if you've seen them before, but you know those little redrawn comics.
Mm.
You seen them before? Like I used to see these little redrawn comics, locally redrawn,
Mm.
and they're like just pieces of Jim Lee art. They sort of traced the art, and a lot of those came from these. And there was this Mandarin issue, I think.
Yeah. Jim Lee's version of the Mandarin is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like he did away with the the robes and shit. He's just wearing a suit.
I think this is part of the storyline, but I can't really.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten around to reading it. I mean, I bought this. I remember buying this Christmas 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah, it's,
I haven't bought it yet.
yeah.
And this is the last Jim Lee, the last issue Jim Lee drew before he got assigned to X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Tiny X-Men. It features Wolverine and Gambit fighting because they always do that.
You know, one weird thing is Jim Lee created Gambit, and yet Gambit's first appearance, Jim Lee did not draw it.
Yeah.
Andy Kubert did the cover though.
Yes. And it was with Storm for some reason.
Oh yeah, Storm was, if I remember correctly, Storm
Child. She was a child.
She was during the child was.
This is why I hate mutants. It's so
that
fucking weird.
thing, that egg-shaped thing. What's her name?
Destiny?
No. Shaped like an egg. Nanny. Yeah.
Nanny.
And Orphan Maker.
Yeah, comics are. The
Fucking weird.
comics can be super dumb. I'm just saying. Like the art is great and all, but yeah, again,
Comics are dumb, and yet we love them. So.
yes. So yeah, for the sake of
Go
eye
figure.
candy, and again, like the Mutant Genesis book that we're reviewing, the story is very serviceable. In fact, it's more than serviceable. It's actually pretty good because this is one of the rare X-Men books that you don't really need to know a lot of history.
You don't have to know
because it just starts off like with them training, and then fucking the bad guy shows up, and then they band together to beat the bad guy. So it's
and it's
straight up superhero story.
Same thing with the 1975 Giant Size X-Men number
Yeah.
1. You don't have to be familiar with the original team. You've got the original 5: Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast.
There's actually like this storyline. It's like a pilot episode of a new TV show. So it's very accessible. Like if you're a casual X-Men fan, especially like X-Men right now in the comic books, they're so fucking weird. It's so convoluted like this. If you want to read about mutants and this is them, in simplest way possible. It's just a good time. This comic is a good time.
I actually stopped reading X-Men for a long time.
No.
That was around the time. Remember when Wolverine was he got his adamantium fatal attractions, and then that was good.
20 years ago.
Yeah, that time period was really good because you got like a solo adventures of Wolverine, and then he sort of got turned into this really weird, hairy.
Oh yeah,
creature.
and then he lost his nose.
Yeah, and then he
comics are dumb.
And then and then Elektra, that arc, and then he was something about
Jay Lee did some of the art though.
Oh yeah,
so that was fine.
And I think that some of the issues were also drawn by our own Lionel Francis Yu.
Yes, and again, Little Boys, right now, ever since I don't know, man. This was before the X-Men got too big to be enjoyable.
The animated show came out 2 years after.
Yeah. So, but this is the storyline that sparked the interest. It made buzz, and the animated series came out, and then that's when it all started. It made it spawned a new generation of comic book fans, and
it's great timing because you got these guys, Jim Lee, and then they sort of they formed Image after.
Yeah, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, who again, as mentioned, did Spider-Man. Eric Larson, who got fame from the Hulk, and it was a fourth guy. There were four of them.
Liefeld.
Fuck that guy. Liefeld created Cable, so
was Portacio. He did Wetworks. And he also drew the other X-Men title after
Uncanny X-Men. Yes.
Concurrent with this title.
For me, this story holds a really special place in my heart because again, despite not being a fan of X-Men, reading it, I really enjoyed it as a kid. And then the cartoon came out, and that was Friday night right after the Power Rangers. So it's fucking good time.
Now they
Yeah.
only had news. That was like 7:30.
News
so,
and them crappy fucking
ah,
telenovela shit. That's what they do now.
yeah. The TV then was cool. Like
Yeah.
you actually they showed like what just
It was like
weeks
almost
after the U.S. aired.
yeah. Plus, like there's always like there was like a decade of like really good Friday night television.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was like a kid, it was the Ghostbusters in another cartoon at the
Mm.
7 to 8 p.m. slot, and then they just fucking changed it. Like at some point, it was Power Rangers and X Men, and then Power Rangers, X Men, and the Spider-Man animated series, which also changed the game.
Is that the one that goes? Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da,
It was a
yeah, that was good.
2 hour slot that had the Power Rangers, the X Men, Spider-Man, and the Batman animated series
Oh yeah,
every Friday night.
that's awesome. That was I remember that was before I discovered the X Files.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because X Files would show like
Monday
on
nights.
RPN.
Monday
Oh
nights.
yeah, on RPN on 9 p.m. Yeah, that's why I learned to drink super late in life. Because Friday nights I would stay home because I would like have those fucking shows.
And other people like would just go out Friday night.
Yeah, like and like we never got laid, so it's fine because I got to see all of the episodes of the Batman show.
We should probably do that sometime. The no, I mean not get laid, but the
Okay.
but the Batman show should.
Yeah. Oh, copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done with this episode. We're done. We
Hey.
ended it by reminiscing about childhood television.
And for record, this is the shortest episode that we did ever so far.
But it's actually the most informational. Except for the Doom Patrol one. Because this is like fucking okay.
That was
trivia.
so I apologize for those who were trying to slog through that episode, but really, we should have done like multiple, 2-parters.
Yeah, but like this is like 30 minutes. So it was like fucking tight with trivia, information, actual helpful stuff, and then again nostalgia stuff, like some historical, point of view. I think we should do this more often.
What? Not reminiscing.
No, review good books.
No book, just reminiscing.
Yeah.
Episode 12,
And then
two nerds reminiscing. We'll probably do that.
I will fucking bring a book that would spark some nostalgia stuff, not the good ones. And we'll be doing Spider-Man. Like I've had people ask me why, like it's always like the major DC characters and mutants and Avengers. Yeah, we'll do Spider-Man soon.
I am
okay?
surprised that people are actually asking about it.
Yeah,
I really am.
yes. Yeah, Spider-Man soon, coming soon. All right. I'm just picking the book because most of the books available about Spider-Man right now suck.
True.
I can't find a fucking Death of Gwen Stacy and like Sinister Six.
I
Book.
think they. Yeah, well, oh yeah, I forgot to touch on that. I mean, if
I'm not doing Maximum Carnage. It sucks.
remember,
Fine.
we were talking about Epic Collections off air.
Yeah.
Earlier. I mean, if it's just a quick note, if you are collecting Marvel, by the storylines, a good value books that are good values would be what Epic and Marvel Epic Collections.
Epic Collections.
And they have like
they're doing a really good job with the Epic Collections of the Avengers, with the exception of the big three, because they really like put together some really crappy stuff there. But Epic Collections managed to feature the Korean Skrull War, Operation Galactic Storm in just one book.
And as far as Jim Lee's X-Men goes, there will be
Epic Collection of this.
an Epic Collection that will cover this. I think there already is an Epic Collection that covers the first 3 issues.
Yeah,
Might
but
be
that's
the
I don't think they're gonna recolor that.
No. It's
That's
not
the thing.
recolored.
Like you should get this
And then
simply because of the colors.
the earlier Jim Lee issues, there's going to be an Epic Collection that covers everything.
What I'm planning to get is the Epic Collection of Power Man and Iron Fist,
Oh yeah.
because they have a really thick. I think they covered the entire fucking. No, not a dick joke. Stop. I saw that look. You were going there. No. But yeah.
Missed my cue there, but
So again, get this book, Mutant Genesis, if you can find it. If you can find it first, because if I do, I'll get it first. But yeah, this is.
don't let him know if you find one. Just
Yeah.
buy it, and then sell it to him for like twice the price.
And of course, if you guys have requests, like the people who've been bugging me about Spider-Man, we'll do fucking Spider-Man. Just wait. But yeah, let us know either through comments, private messages, or just like when you see us on the street, which is weird. Like,
hey, are you that fucking nerd?
yeah, would you like to? Yeah, but we'll do a bunch of others. We'll spread our wings a bit more, especially once Fully Book decides to give us books to review.
Yeah, well,
because right now we're doing books from our own collections, and of
Yes.
course we collect shit that we like. So mine is like mostly Avengers and Justice League stuff.
we're not saying our
Yes,
collection is
X-Men
running
too.
out, but
You know, but it's gonna get repetitive. So yeah, we'll try to diversify the. I'd like to do some IDW stuff as well.
Yeah, I want to do John Constantine, but the books, not him. But you know,
Like 12 volumes?
no, 21 volumes so
Oh,
far.
wow. I ain't reading
See?
that. Like, I still haven't read Planet F. But yeah.
And Sandman too, but
Mhm.
there's another. Hell, we should really do Sandman.
Mhm. I did. I have. Sandman, yeah, I read it.
No, I mean we should do an episode of Sandman.
Oh,
But-
yeah. But
What do you guys think?
get the goth girls involved. Again, like Mutant Genesis by the X-Men by Jim Lee and Claremont. It's a big thumbs up from both of us. So that's it. Thank you for watching. My name is Rene and Clifford Jr.
I'm Clifford Hong Kong.
We are ghosts.
Fucking nerds. Trying to end the video.
Sneak.
If you do want to end this live video, we're trying to end.